Morning, everyone. So it's hard to believe we only have a couple more days of science left. This is going to be the assignment for my silver day on Thursday, May 14th, and my purple day on Friday, May 15th. Then next week, we will just have another assignment on Monday and Tuesday. So I'm going to put a Google slide down below that you can look at. And if you click on this announcement right here, it's going to play this videotape. And if you click on this, it will open up another video on the circulatory system. And today we're going to talk about the respiratory and the circulatory system because they work closely together. If you click on the computer right here, it will take you to the Quizlet for you to see. So part of your assignment is that you are going to be labeling your heart. And so I want you to look at my labeling of the heart. And after you watch the video, it will make a little bit more sense. When you look at the picture of this heart, you can see that the right side is going to be over here. It's like you're looking at it like it was up against your body. And so we have two sides to the heart. And I marked blue arrows to show the flow of deoxygenated blood flowing through the heart on the way to the lungs to pick up oxygen. So you can see that we have deoxygenated blood coming in from the upper part of the body through the superior vena cava, which is a vein, into this right atrium. We also have deoxygenated blood coming up from the lower part of the body through this inferior vena cava into the right atrium. And so even though it's often depicted with blue, it's not really blue. It's kind of like a dark maroon color. And so once it travels into the right atrium, it's going to go through this tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. And the right ventricle is going to squeeze this deoxygenated blood, and it's going to go through the pulmonary valve here, through the pulmonary arteries. One's going to go to the left lung and one's going to go to the right lung. And in the lungs, it's going to pick up oxygen and it's going to drop off the carbon dioxide left in the red blood cells. Then it's going to travel back to the heart through the pulmonary veins. So that's one of the things that you can see down here. The blood always goes back to the heart through a vein, and then it leaves the heart through an artery. So it left through the pulmonary artery to go to the lungs, and then it's coming back into the heart through the pulmonary veins. Now it's bright red, and so we have the red arrows, and the blood will get pumped into the left atrium, go through the bicuspid valve, or they often call it the mitral valve. It has bicuspid because there's like two flaps to it. It's going to go into this left ventricle, and when that left ventricle squeezes, it's going to get pushed up here through the aorta, which is the largest artery in the body. And it's really thick because it has to travel to all the different parts of your body and has to withstand enough pressure to go have the blood travel clear down to your toes. And so right in here, there is a little wall in between, and this is called the septum. And it's a little muscular wall in between the two ventricles. So I do want you guys to label your heart. You can use my diagram to help you. Now, you're going to be doing, the diagram tells you to place blue dots in one place and then remove them. Well, of course, we don't have little blue dots. Instead, you're going to do that. And so it walks you through and tells you, like here for diagram A, diagram B, diagram C, D, E, and F. What it's trying to show you is that diagram A and D happen at the same time. So that deoxygenated blood comes in here to the right atrium. At the same time, it enters the left atrium. And then deoxygenated blood goes into the right ventricle at the same time that oxygenated blood goes into the left ventricle. Okay? So if you look at your OneNote on here, You can see, first of all, the respiratory system, and this is an infographic. And I have put some of these infographics in here because they're really cool. And you can see the respiratory system, of course, starts with your nasal passage, your oral cavity, your pharynx, which is basically if you open your mouth and you look in the back, you can see the back of your throat, and that is your pharynx. The little um, dangly thing is called your uvula. Then you have your larynx, also known as your voice box. That branches off into your trachea here. So your trachea branches off into your bronchi that goes into each lung, goes into your left lung and to your right lung. And it branches off even further into bronchioles. And then you have your diaphragm here, and this diaphragm is a muscle. And that muscle will basically kind of collapse and tighten, kind of like when your bicep did when it shortens, when it contracts. And when it does that, it pulls down and air rushes into your lungs. And when it relaxes, it moves up and it just pushes the air out. Down below, you can see the gas exchange process, and this is where the oxygen-rich blood gets to pass through here. It picks up the oxygen and kind of basically drops off the carbon dioxide through these capillaries. And these little capillaries surround the alveoli. This is where the exchange of the gases takes place. So for your assignment, you have the respiratory system. And this is 8.1, and I'm sorry, if you want to, you guys can put like 8-1 on yours. I know when I copied these over before spring break, just in case, I didn't get all the numbers put in the front of that. And so, again, this is reading about the anatomy of the respiratory system. In the statements, it tells you exactly what to label on the diagrams, kind of explains a little bit about how you inhale and how your diaphragm bulges downward. This time your level 1 questions are right here, and here's your diagram to label. Then we have the circulatory system, and this is your heart cycle, and this is what I was talking about for you to kind of label. And on here, it says it uses red to represent oxygenated blood. And it says this practice is not just to make the drawing colorful. Oxygen-rich blood actually looks bright red, and oxygen-poor blood looks bluish or purple. It's not going to look blue. Believe me, it's more of a darker maroon color compared to the bright red color. And so here it tells you to take the circles using a hole punch and remove them. You're not going to do that. So it tells you down here the different things in order to put the dots on and which ones to number. Let's see, there was a typo here. So the muscular wall of the right ventricle is going to contract. So you have a couple level 1 questions, not too many. This is your diagram, so it tells you like put blue dots by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can label this. Down below, here are your smaller diagrams to label. So I know that this is a little bit to have both respiratory and circulatory system together, but they do work really well together. One, the heart has to get the oxygenated blood, which comes directly from the lungs. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and good luck. Miss you.